Have you ever experienced a moment that changed everything? For Lara, a simple family gathering turned into a whirlwind of emotions and unexpected revelations. As laughter filled the air, a heartfelt conversation with her favourite nephew, Ethan, took a surprising turn that would challenge the very fabric of their family ties. What happens next will leave you questioning the boundaries of love and loyalty. Stick around to find out, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more intriguing stories. I couldn't have anticipated that a family gathering at this stage in my life would spark such profound changes. Let me introduce myself briefly. I'm Lara, and until recently, I had a strong belief in my capabilities. I've been with Greg for 16 years, and our bond is robust. We are childless but have rewarding careers and enjoy a pleasant lifestyle. Our daily life had become predictable, and I was content with it until that evening when everything shifted unexpectedly. On an ordinary Saturday, Monica, my sister-in-law, organised a celebration at her place for her eldest son Jake's 23rd birthday. Jake has always been admired for his charm, intelligence, and remarkable maturity beyond his years. We share a special bond, and he holds a unique place in my heart as my favourite nephew, filling a small void left by not having children. As we sat around the table, the air was filled with joy and warmth. The dinner was wonderful, with plenty of wine and great company. Greg, my husband, was particularly relaxed, enjoying the wine and the family atmosphere, sometimes a bit too much. As the evening wound down, he struggled to stay awake. Gently, he admitted to me that he needed help getting to the car, his eyes showing a hint of vulnerability. I paused, reflecting on our usual family dynamics. Just then, Jake approached with a caring expression, offering to assist his aunt. That moment marked a subtle change in our family gatherings, as if the energy in the room had shifted. I thanked Jake for his help and mentioned that Greg was feeling unwell. With Jake's assistance, we got Greg into the car, his soft snores mixing with the engine's hum as we drove off. During the 25-minute ride, Jake and I chatted about his studies and future plans. He felt proud and grateful for his personal growth. Once home, we helped Greg out of the car and into bed. We settled him in, and Jake waited respectfully at the doorway, giving us space. I expressed my gratitude, unaware that my words would lead to a significant change. As I left the room, I whispered Ethan's name and closed the door. "There isn't anything, dear Aunt Laura," he replied with a warm smile. We moved to the kitchen, where he handed me a glass of water, his expression hinting at something he wanted to share. "Is everything okay, dear?" I asked softly, sensing his nervousness. After a sip of water, Ethan was ready to talk. "Aunt Laura, I need to discuss something important with you. Do you have a moment?" His serious tone concerned me. "Of course, Ethan. You can talk to me about anything," I reassured him. He ran a hand through his hair, a comforting gesture from his childhood. "This is tough to talk about," he began, and I felt a warmth seeing him open up. "What's on your mind, dear?" I asked gently, encouraging him to continue. Ethan let out a soft laugh. "If only it were that simple, Aunt Laura. There's a significant age difference, and she's married." I reassured him it was okay, trying to ease his anxiety. I was taken aback by the revelation, struggling to process it. "Ethan, I'm not sure what to say." I asked him how certain he was about his feelings in this complex situation, feeling uneasy myself. He nodded resolutely. "Aunt Laura, I'm sure about this. I care for her deeply." He acknowledged the potential impact on family dynamics. "I understand, Ethan," I replied, seeing his determination. "I'm here for you," I said, noticing the tension in his eyes. "I've been feeling this way for a while, and I need to talk to him about it." He wanted me to know his intentions. I felt a mix of support and concern for my nephew, given the depth of his feelings at such a young age. Everything seemed clear and inevitable. "Ethan, I see how much this means to you. Consider the potential consequences carefully. If you decide to reveal this to him, how do you anticipate it might impact the situation?" I inquired about its possible effect on the rest of the family. He took a brief pause, seemingly searching for the right words to express something more. Then, He looked up and held eye contact with me in a surprisingly intense way. Laura, I could never have imagined that someone like you would have such a profound impact on my life. In that instant, everything seemed to stand still. I felt as if the ground beneath me gently shifted, guiding me into a vast open space. It was hard to comprehend. I softly questioned Ethan, and he instinctively moved back toward the kitchen counter. He approached me with a look that evoked emotions I wasn't prepared to confront. You've always been someone I greatly admire and respect. From the moment my memories began, you've held a special place in my heart. At first, I thought it was just admiration, the usual affection a nephew has for his beloved aunt. Over time, I realized it held a deeper meaning. You are truly a wonderful, intelligent, and remarkable person I've had the pleasure of knowing. My thoughts were somewhat confused, and I struggled to grasp what I was hearing. I felt trapped in a disconcerting situation, almost like a bad dream or a joke gone wrong. However, the sincere expression in Ethan's eyes showed that the matter was serious. Ethan, it seems you're struggling to be sincere. This appears to be a fundamental misunderstanding. It might be wise to reconsider this situation. I am your aunt, married to your uncle, and there is a 31-year age difference between us. I voiced my feelings, saying, "This isn't quite right." Despite sensing some uncertainty in my words, he stepped closer, reducing the space between us. I understand your perspective, family member. I realize it may seem unusual, but I want to assure you that I've tried to handle this situation. Although I've dated various women, I've struggled to move past my thoughts of you. It hasn't been successful. The bond I feel with you is significant, but it must remain respectful. He paused briefly, visibly emotional, before stepping back. I felt frozen, struggling to move or think clearly. Ethan, it's crucial to recognize that this situation isn't appropriate. We are part of the same family. I am the same age as your birth mother. When I saw Ethan in the kitchen, I sensed a tense atmosphere. I quietly commented, marveling at how charming the boy who once playfully crawled on my lap had become. Now he was a strong young man with a captivating gaze that could warm even the coldest hearts. I recognized the gravity of the situation and struggled to gather my thoughts. Ethan, it would be best for you to step back. I gently asked him to forget our previous conversation, yet he remained still. Instead, he moved closer, reducing the distance between us. The scent of the wine mingled gently with his cologne, creating a warm aura around him. I asked Ethan earnestly, though I wasn't entirely sure what I was hoping for. This is how a significant change began. He approached me with an intense gaze, causing me to step back. The air was filled with palpable tension. In an instant, I found myself frozen, unable to react. However, I was surprised to realize that the blur of emotions made me see how far we had let things go. I felt as if a long closed door gently opened. Emotions I thought I had moved past resurfaced. I gently reached out to him, running my fingers through his hair, savoring the moment as it stretched beyond my awareness. I needed a moment to compose myself before stepping back. We were both overwhelmed, and the significance of what happened washed over me. I asked myself, feeling a mix of confusion and regret, "What have we done, my friend?" Ethan, in that moment, showed a mix of deep emotions, his eyes sparkling with sincerity that was hard to ignore. He told his Aunt Laura that what happened reflected his feelings for her. I took a deep breath, trying to find calm and gather my thoughts amidst the noise. Ethan, it seems there was a mistake. I appreciate your feelings, but it's important for us to find a way to prevent this situation from happening again. I tried to create some space for myself, but his intense gaze caught me off guard. Aunt, I see that you're quite scared, but what happened does hold significance. We both felt it in that moment. I let out a gentle sigh, searching for the right words. Ethan, I see that you're feeling a lot right now, but we need to address this situation together. This situation might affect our family relationship. It's important to take a moment to reflect and recognize that, despite the confusion, we can choose not to let it affect our daily lives or those around us. After a brief pause, he tried to understand the information being shared with him. He expressed his emotions and mentioned that he had no intention of causing any problems, subtly trying to reduce the strain between them with a warm smile. "Thank you for your support and kindness." I softly told Ethan that he is an amazing individual and reassured him that the joy and love he desires will eventually come into his life, even if this path isn't right for him now. After a brief pause, Ethan stepped back, giving me some quiet time to think alone. His expression was contemplative, and there was an understanding atmosphere that felt comforting. "I value your insight, dear Aunt Laura." He expressed his dedication to handling the situation as best as he could, recognizing the upcoming difficulties. Witnessing him in a vulnerable state brought a heavy feeling to my heart. At that moment, I realized the importance of staying strong, not just for our mutual well-being, but also for the harmony within our family. "I value you, Ethan. I believe in your ability to succeed." I replied with optimism, acknowledging that being young offers a bright future to create something beautiful with someone who joins you on the journey. A soft smile appeared on his face while his eyes showed a hint of longing. "I will always wish the best for you, dear Aunt. If you ever need help in the future, I'm here for you, just as you are for me." He shared his feelings, instilling in me a calm and reflective mood. Following a warm farewell embrace, he exited the kitchen. I heard a soft knock at the front door, followed by the sound of his car departing into the quiet night. I remained there alone, pondering the night's events. I felt somewhat restless, which made it difficult for me to relax. A stream of thoughts gently occupied my mind. A sense of introspection, a hint of sadness, and an unfamiliar feeling of emptiness that I couldn't quite comprehend. I felt assured in my decision to establish boundaries, though I also pondered the possibilities of what might have been. As I drifted off to sleep, I thought about every moment and conversation with Ethan. Faced with concern for my loved ones and a sense of duty, I understood that the best option was to treasure this as a personal memory, something to keep gently within our family. The next day, the individual woke up feeling slightly unsettled. When asked about the previous night, I shared only what was necessary. Ethan has always been supportive. He is an amazing person. Whenever my sister contacted me, I felt a slight worry, hoping Ethan wouldn't reveal anything or that the truth would remain hidden. He chose to keep his distance, perhaps, taking time to process everything in his own way. In the family setting, I found certain situations challenging. I tried to spend less time alone with Ethan, though I noticed his efforts to be considerate and polite. His behavior brought me comfort and hope, as it seemed he was trying his best to move forward while I dealt with the mix of emotions from that kiss. Ethan appeared to show more interest in me, as if he sensed something was on my mind. He began suggesting activities, offering small kindnesses, and finding ways to connect with me. Under different circumstances, these gestures might have been enjoyable, but at that moment, they only reminded me of the significant responsibility I had to maintain. As days passed, the feeling of walking on a tightrope became more apparent. I hoped for the chance to fully trust Ken and believe the situation would resolve easily. However, I recognized the complexity of the matter. The pieces didn't fit together, and the consequences extended beyond just me. Meanwhile, Ethan kept some distance, though sometimes his gaze was so intense it left me anticipating something unknown. I tried to stay calm, but it added to my stress, making my thoughts even more pronounced. Whenever I saw him, I found myself thinking about the past and the lingering emotions. Life went on, and Kent continued to show love that, while comforting, deepened my guilt. He hugged me more often, and when he held my hand, he felt my growing resolve. Sometimes I wished he could see past the moment and understand my worries and decisions. Still, I knew sharing this with him wouldn't be easy. At night, time seemed to stand still. In the quiet, I wondered how long I could bear this burden. The relationship with Ethan became more complicated. With Kent, I felt stability that I wanted to preserve, but I was caught in misunderstandings, making what seemed like a small issue more complex. How far can I progress while feeling secure? As days went by, maintaining my composure became harder. Each time Kent displayed happiness or affection, the emotions he concealed seemed to intensify. On some evenings, I would lie awake, quietly reflecting on how our lives had become so entwined. I pondered how to move forward without feeling like everything could fall apart, as if the elements of my life might gently drift away, carrying with them the comforts I cherish. Ethan was considerate of the distance she required, despite her mannerisms conveying more than words could express. Though we had a connection, her company frequently served as a subtle reminder of past times, blurring the line between then and now. Yet, Ethan possessed an allure that kept pulling me in, making me consider that perhaps there might still be a possibility for more. With Kent, everything felt special. I valued his unwavering encouragement and genuine concern. Occasionally, I felt slightly overwhelmed by his intensity, as if each loving gesture was a subtle hint of what could be lost if plans went awry. Caring for him and maintaining our unity began to feel increasingly tough over time. Sometimes, I envision relocating to a tranquil spot, far from familiar environments. However, I chose not to pursue it. His impulsive character occasionally steered the decisions in our relationship. He recognized that his chosen route involved risks and would yield specific results. I had to handle this circumstance carefully, making sure my deeds didn't cause unease for others. It grew more difficult to manage as I found myself torn between my affection for Kent and the complications Ethan introduced into my life. One day, while with Ethan, I sensed a heightened tension in the air. His eyes were fixed, as if patiently awaiting my reply, and the silent exchange we had felt profound, almost tangible. The air was thick with echoes of our mutual past. Ethan was the one to disrupt the stillness surrounding us. He began by stating his hope for my comfort and his availability for conversation whenever needed. His sincere words genuinely touched me. I pondered his comprehension and our ability to traverse this scenario without causing chaos. At that instant, a wave of uncertainty hit me. Was it the ideal time to retreat? I questioned whether to reveal my emotions or keep them hidden, enduring the ambiguity a bit longer. The predicament felt like a taut rope, ready to snap. I feared missing the opportune moment to act. As days went by, the tension among us grew, with everyone avoiding the real issues. Kent maintained his typical kindness, though it now felt tinged with guilt. His smiles seemed forced, more an attempt to preserve calm amidst the turmoil. Meanwhile, Ethan seemed lost in thought, his quietude more noticeable. We'd occasionally meet in hallways, exchanging brief glances that sparked memories, warm and familiar. His silence was both puzzling and soothing, as Kent opted for quiet. Perhaps he realized words couldn't alter our situation. After a tense but minor disagreement with Kent, I bumped into Ethan in the kitchen. Our unexpected encounter was filled with unspoken emotions. I gazed out the window, seeking calm amidst my emotional turmoil. Ethan reassured me softly, expressing his wish for my ease. His simple words resonated, deepening my appreciation for our complex bond and the circumstances we faced. Once more, I observed that we were enveloped by a vast expanse of unspoken feelings where each gesture and quiet moment carried profound meaning. Nevertheless, I was grappling with which path to take, how to handle the circumstance, and how to support those dear to me. This uncertainty left me feeling more overwhelmed than ever. Ethan's tranquil yet confident voice softly interrupted the quiet, expressing his desire to prevent any misinterpretations. He reassured us that his affection for the other individual remained steadfast. His statement struck me in a surprising and profound way. I observed him intently, searching for any clue in his gaze that might offer an explanation. Yet, I detected a blend of bewilderment and unease. At that instant, I felt somewhat perplexed and struggled to organize my thoughts or reply suitably. Ethan, I'm uncertain about how to tackle this predicament, I replied gently, expressing my bewilderment. I wish for things to revert to their previous state, although it seems slightly unattainable now. He approached me softly, keeping a considerate space, yet near enough to offer me solace. Despite a trace of sadness in his eyes, he seemed to be looking for a means to bond and steer through this complicated tangle of sentiments. Ethan voiced his thoughts serenely, indicating that he too was sorting through his emotions to make sure we could keep fostering what we had built together. My pulse was racing. It was crucial for me to maintain simplicity and clarity. I yearned to hold on to Kent and treasure what we had established. However, it was clear that ignoring Ethan's situation would only intensify my discomfort. The scenario remained unchanged. Could you comprehend the circumstance and help me navigate it delicately? The house was filled with a soft tranquility that felt somewhat burdensome. Kent left for work in the morning, while Ethan opted to spend his day with companions. I decided to utilize that peaceful time to ponder and gently confront the reality I had been delaying. I took a seat on the couch, thinking about the walls that had witnessed numerous joyful occasions and shared laughter. At that moment, my perspective shifted. I felt a sense of duty that burdened me, and the longing to take care of my loved ones occasionally disrupted my peaceful rest. In this manner, I decided to accept reality. I believed it was necessary to be candid about the occurrence, rather than merely preserving appearances. I understood that a discussion with Kent was inevitable. Although I acknowledged that our bond might evolve, I chose to pick up the phone and call him. The ringing sounded softly, each second extending gently towards a pivotal moment that could alter my viewpoint. At last I heard his voice on the line. "Hello, dear, hope you're well," he inquired in his typically affectionate tone. "Kent, I believe we need to talk," I replied, striving to keep my voice engaged and my manner calm. A soft silence occupied the space on the other end. He inquired about the matter, detecting the seriousness in my voice. "This is a crucial subject." I kindly requested him to return home immediately, aware that a storm was approaching. After the call ended, I remained silent, noticing how each second seemed to lengthen. Eventually, I heard the door open. As I stepped in, Kent wore an expression of concern. He asked what was happening. As he moved closer, I concentrated on him, searching for the appropriate words, aware that my communication would be direct. "Kent, there's a significant matter I need to discuss with you, an incident involving Ethan and me." As I uttered those words, I sensed a slight tremble in my voice. In that instant, I realized that what I was about to reveal could cause a lasting transformation in our lives. I felt somewhat anxious and uncertain. It was vital to be honest and forthcoming. There was no other choice.